Hello. Hi everyone. Well, I can see a big part. You can see a big messy pile of games behind me. Hi everyone. Welcome to July. Hopefully you can see and hear me and everything. Although it's mainly been waffle so far. Thanks for joining me. I haven't been running around in a panic for the last few minutes. Whew. Yeah, for some reason everything's gone wrong with the computer and nothing was working, but it seems to be now. So hopefully it's all being broadcast to you. It was meant to be going on Twitch as well, but it's not. More on that later, maybe. Maybe. Although, people that are watching on YouTube, probably not too fussed whether it's on Twitch or not. But hey everyone, thanks for being here. Hey Monica, Mikhail, Weijen, Matt, Steve. And everyone else as well, of course. Hey Skip, thank you for being here. So, we're going to talk about some great games that got filmed and put up in June. There's loads more in July. Yeah, stuff that might be coming up. After I finish this stream, I'm going to put up a post on Patreon to see what's going to get played through this month. It decides the priority every month, and hopefully there'll be some cool, exciting new things for you. Hey, Monica, it's moving month. Yeah, it actually was quite a while since our moving month, but it doesn't feel like that longer. It was like 18 months ago, but I still remember the panic of trying to pack up all of this stuff into boxes and try and keep it all safe and nice. It was horrible. And one day, I'm sure, we will go through it again. But not for a while, I hope. Right, so, what should we start with? The games of last month, probably. But I should mention, like, up front, I should do this more. But, you know, you see it on all of the videos and stuff. You can support the channel through Patreon and Ko-fi. Maybe more ways. I don't really know about the other ways, but I'm thinking, you know, people tell me you should turn on YouTube memberships. When I was on Twitch, they were saying you should turn on subscriptions and stuff. There's like pros and cons and stuff. I think like if you had YouTube memberships, I can't give YouTube members like access to the vote on Patreon or put the videos up early and stuff. I don't think, and I'd like everyone to have the same kind of experience on all of the things. So I don't really know how all of that works. I know that other channels kind of put all of it on, and it's tempting to do that because times are tough, as I'm sure everyone knows, and it's a worry. I'm glad that there's so many people still on Patreon and stuff, and just watching the videos is providing a little bit of money from adverts and stuff because it's worrying at the moment, isn't it? But I'm sure it is for everyone, and it tends to be, you know, it's a quieter time anyway, isn't it? And I'm sure people are like planning things. But hey, yeah, thank you. If you can give support, I would really appreciate it. Hey, you could have your name kind of, it's positioned kind of right in front of my head, isn't it? Hey, Troy and Jonathan, you're right on my forehead. Right. Yeah, there's ways that you can support us in the description and stuff. I hope, and it will be massively appreciated. Maybe enough patrons can tempt Marty back because no, he's just downstairs, chilling out where it's a little bit colder. Wondering why I'm always wearing these kind of baggy sports shirts. They're kind of comfortable in what is the hottest room in the house. And hey, when I bought them, they weren't really baggy. That's been some progress. Right, let's get on to June. And I need to remember, the whole point of this was kind of like I should be, you know, looking at the videos that I did last month, but also like the games that I played and what is the game of the month that I think I've done this time. I don't think I did it in the last video. Right, if you come up, there we go. I thought we'll try to do it from this. I thought maybe I'll link the playthrough list in the video rather than it takes ages to do all of the timestamps and descriptions and stuff. If you prefer it like that, let me know in the comments because I don't know how much they get used. But there is a master list of all of the videos, you know, the playthroughs and overviews and stuff. Top 10s and things don't get put in this list. But as you can see, there have been many hundreds of things at the moment. We'll talk about just the videos that happened in June, but I'll link to the great big master list in the description. And you can like, I hadn't seen actually that Board Game Geek have kind of revamped their geek lists and freshened them up with the kind of new style, and it's got a little bit of a nicer way of looking through all of the items. It's got like You can list them in different ways now, rather than just the way that I put it, which is the order that they came out in. Hey, look at that, June 2016. Well, April 2016. The videos went up, but yeah, you can do all of that good stuff. But we'll get to. Oh, you'll see some spoilers. What happened in June? So we had a solo playthrough for Eternal Palace, just in time for the UK Games Expo. That kind of, ate into some of the playthrough time. But yeah, a full solo playthrough of Eternal Palace from designer Stephen Aramini, who designed things like Fliptown, that I did a playthrough for not long ago, Spiralopolis, Agropolis, many games. Eternal Palace is a dice placement kind of game, grouping up dice to try and race up different tracks against the other players. In the solo, of course, you're playing against a really nice bot. So yeah, you can see a full solo playthrough for that. Hadrian's Wall. This was kind of a catch-up stream, so it's here a couple of times this month, but that's because we ran out of time in May to do one. So trying to keep up with the monthly solo campaign, loving it, of course. We did Fort 9 right at the beginning of June. Viticulture World, I already did a 2-player stream with Rach for the kind of easiest continent that comes with the game, and I did a recorded solo playthrough because all of Stone Mine's games have Automa Factory helping out with solo variants, and you're playing against an Automa. But Viticulture World is a cooperative game, so you need someone to kind of work with. So there is an AI ally in a way who still kind of trips you up and gets in your way a little bit, but he's there to help you out. He's trying his best, and you can see how that works in there. I'm trying to think of his name. I can't remember his name right now. All I can think of is Bertali, and that's not it. That's a butter. But yeah, you can see, you can find out the name of your ally, and see it all in action over there. The Gallerist came back. It's just kind of, I really wanted to. I think it did get a decent amount of votes, but yeah, I haven't played the Gallerist for like a year when we last did the stream, and before that, who knows? So yeah, I was really pleased to play some Gallerist, and yeah, it's good as ever. Still my favourite solo Vital Lacerda game. You're running an art gallery and stuff. It's quite a heavy Eurogame, although I think kind of on the lighter end of Vital Lacerda's games, which are still pretty meaty games. To be fair, Seize the Bean, I have been raving about for years since its original Kickstarter when I did a video for it, and it exists. It is in the world, and yeah, it's as glorious as my 3-year-old memories were telling me it was back when I had the prototype. It's even better now. It's even more packed with stuff, and it's absolutely glorious. You can see there'll be another stream on this list actually. 2 streams, or was one? I think one was in May actually. You can see 2 streams anyway of Rach and I teaming up to do the solo mode, where you can increase the difficulty, which we've been doing difficulty 1 and 2 against completely different customer sets, trying to defeat the Starbots and their virtual coffee contraptions. And yeah, we've been doing a decent job so far. But yeah, hopefully, I'd like to do more actually. And there's plenty more customers and difficulties to step up to. Longshot the Dice Game is a horse racing betting kind of dice game. Every round you roll a die that tells you a number of a horse and how many steps it's going to move around this racetrack. And horses also have kind of secondary movement. They'll move that many steps according to the dice, but also other horses that have got a little cross marked off on their card will move 1 step as well, and then everyone gets an action where they can do a bit of set collection. They can bet on horses, they can put those secondary marks in horses. So if number 3 keeps getting rolled and you've got bets on number 7, maybe you want number 7 to move when number 3 moves, for example. You can buy the horses and get special powers. It really works beautifully well. We've played a 5-player game, and then I've played some solo games. I do really enjoy the solo, and that's what the playthrough is of. But I would like to, if there's demand for it, I'd like to record kind of a multiplayer one, because I think that was where it was at. Although, as I say, the solo is really fun as well. Decorum is a multiplayer cooperative passive-aggressive kind of deduction game. We are roommates in various situations. There's a campaign you can play through, basically. Different campaigns according to your player count. But this is the first 3 scenarios we did in a live stream with Rach joining me. and you're trying to decorate your house, but you won't tell each other what you want. It's you're playing passive aggressive people. You won't tell each other what your goals are, but you'll have goals. Say like one of you will be nothing upstairs can be green, and the other person will have like you can't have lamps on the left side of the house, but something in the house needs to be green. Things that are they won't completely clash and make it so you can't win, but they will get in each other's way nicely enough that you've got to try and work out what the other person wants, and they can only respond with "I love it," "I don't care," or "I hate it." It's a passive aggressive game. I really enjoyed it. Rach enjoyed it, but found one particular game in that kind of frustrating, and hasn't got as much patience for deduction style games. But I really loved it. Side The Rise of Fenris, hot off the heels of me kind of returning to Scythe and doing that new Ultima playthrough for it, and raving about it. I've heard plenty about The Rise of Fenris, a campaign-based expansion that's got loads of secret little boxes in there. I started playing through it. It got a good amount of votes. I bought it. I played through it. Started that out. You can see Chapter 1 now. Chapter 2 has just gone up on Patreon, right? I think it's on Patreon now. But yeah, basically, I was going to do a few and did a couple. I think I did one day, and then I did a couple the day after that. And then the last day when I was going to start editing them, I just did like the entire day I spent filming. Like there's 8 chapters in it. I filmed 5 in a day. So I've done the whole thing. It will come out kind of gradually, but yeah, loved it. So check that out. I played the solo mode as well, and I've since seen I wasn't kind of brave enough to do this on the playthrough, but you can put multiple Ultimas as your opponents in this, and the Ultimas will fight each other as well. So you can kind of play them off against each other a little bit, kind of give you more of the feel of the multiplayer game, maybe. I didn't do that in the playthrough, but you can still see all of the crazy stuff that's going on. Hadrian's Wall, another one. There's June's actual one. Usually do it towards the end of the month, although we'll have to change that for August, actually. But yes, Fort 10 is in effect. I think there are 16, so there's not very many left. But yeah, you can see how I did at Fort 10. It was a challenge one. I thought it didn't sound too tricky. The next one sounds more tricky. But yeah, that was kind of... I felt a little bit more lost in thought in this one than in others. And then the latest playthrough on Friday, Rach joined me as usual, and my brother Ben also joined us as a kind of last-minute thing. He was going to be here, and I just said, "Oh, well, do you want to be in a playthrough?" And he did. So Wonderbook is a... You see bits of it about. That's a bit of a spoiler. It's a pop-up co-op kind of game, a kind of dungeon crawly thing. It's family weight in a way. This is a bit of a spoiler, but it's on the front cover of the game, so I don't think it's massively a spoiler. Can you see that okay? Have I got it facing the right way around? Yeah, I've got it facing the right way around, I think. It's a great big pop-up thing full of surprises, and there's an envelope in there. There's 6 different chapters to play. We played through the first one that's kind of an introductory thing, teaching you the ropes and stuff. So you can see it from there. Bit of spoilers, but the main bulk of the game is in the other chapters and stuff, isn't it? So there we go. That is all of the stuff that happened video-wise in June. I realise I've just been kind of steaming through that and motoring my way through it and not reading and stuff. I know that if I don't kind of force myself to keep on track, I'll just ramble for ages. I'll skip all your games are in storage. Oh no. Like our games were all in boxes for a long time, but they were in the house still. That's pretty much what I think in the last month of us living in our old house, the living room was basically just boxes everywhere, and the computer room. It was just you couldn't really get in because there was just enormous boxes, mainly full of games, absolutely everywhere. But I hope they're okay. I'm sure they're doing okay. Oh, thanks Matt for the Patreon bot, and thanks Patreon bot for working today. Yeah, it's got horror stories of moving with all these board games. So yeah, when it's like a great big video game collection, like they're still taking up space, but I don't know. When I used to have like boxes and boxes of DVDs, say, I never really thought about them getting damaged or anything, or worried about any of that, and it still didn't take up that much space when you put them all in boxes. But yeah, board games. Thanks, Susanna. Buratino, that's it. Nothing like Bertali. Well, it starts with a B. It's not even the right number of syllables. I suppose kind of it's Italian as well, or at least the adverts used to be making out like it was Italian. We have to Gallerist and Seize the Bean are both on your wish list. Good choices. Why, Jane, you like to Seize the Bean? I think we need to keep it going. I'm always kind of agonising over this when I have to kind of think about what the schedule is going to be on a Monday. It's really tough kind of thinking about the games in general, because you've got to balance, like, I want to get these videos done, I want to get these things filmed and edited, and that's going to take so much of a chunk of time. And like, if I do a live playthrough for something, especially if it's like the Gallerist or a big Euro game, like, I don't know, it's been okay kind of just doing them off the cuff and working them out on the stream and stuff. That is good in a way, but I would like to kind of have a bit more of a handle on the game beforehand. But that means that you've then got to have time to kind of learn it and practice it and stuff beforehand, which I'm hoping to do with Carnegie this week. Have a bit more practice before I film the solo playthrough, because it's not as complicated as it first seemed. It's a really beautiful Euro game. I've loved it so far. But yeah, I want to get a bit to grips with it more. But that's like kind of the trade-off of, if you do that, you're going to make fewer things. And yeah, it's a worry always making fewer things. I've kind of played through all 8 chapters of Rise of Fenris. I wonder if we ended up doing the same things. There's a few things that I think we never saw because of choices and things that we made, but it's not Legacy. You can completely reset it all, and it's modular, so you don't even have to play through the campaign if you don't want to. You can just open it all up and use various modules as little individual expansions for Scythe. But I played through the campaign and really enjoyed it. Right, so let's. Oh, I didn't send this picture to myself. I did make a nice 3x3, which you can do in board game stats. I've kept, I think largely throughout this year, I kind of lost. I've kept up doing BG stats, which I used to do kind of 2017 kind of time. I always logged everything, scores, loved it. I still love looking at the stats, but I don't tend to think about it, and like I forget and lose track and stuff. And it's great for me kind of doing these videos, and when it comes to making kind of the top 10 of the year and stuff, it's great if you've got that list of everything that you played in the year. But either way, I've tried to do it this year, but I didn't send myself the picture so you can see, like, as well as stuff that I filmed. There you go. You can see you can see it's live on my phone. It can make you like a 3x3 picture of like your most played games of the month, and like, of course, Scythe, because I was playing it anyway, and then I played through the whole of Rise of Fenris and stuff. And First Rat I can play more because it was quite quick. Like, you'll see First Rat coming up. If you're on Patreon, you can see the 2-player playthrough. I've got the solo playthrough ready to post. I'll probably post that tomorrow. But yeah, that's only about half an hour, if that, for a solo game. So it's easy to get a few of those in. Seize the Bean, I've just been loving. And outside of that, there's been a lot of kind of Arkham-y stuff. Eldritch Horror has been filmed, and that'll be the next one to be edited, I think. But I mentioned this last month, I think. I don't think I'd played anything when I did this video for the recap and stuff last month. I think I'd got them, but I hadn't played them yet. I was putting them in the vote, kind of Eldritch and Arkham 2nd Edition, and since then I've played Eldritch Horror about 7 times or something this month. I've been absolutely loving it. I still kind of think it may be nostalgia, but I still lean towards Arkham 2nd Edition as my favourite of them. But yeah, I do love the atmosphere, and that you kind of a bit more swashbuckling and Indiana Jones in around the world. And although it is tough and you're probably going to lose, it doesn't feel as hopeless as Arkham Horror. But I do like how hopeless Arkham Horror feels. I've just got nostalgia though, because Arkham Horror was like such an original, well, not original as in I was the only one that bought it, but it was one of the first games that I bought long before I actually got into playing and buying games. And also, I got the 3rd edition. I saw a cheap 3rd edition with kind of an expansion in it that I never had. And I remember kind of thinking the 3rd edition's nice, but it's stripped out too much, and will it always be the same and stuff? In short, I've played the 3rd edition a couple of times as well, and enjoyed that far more than I remember enjoying it the first time around. It's been a very Arkham-y time. But we don't need this browser on while I'm saying these things. We get on to the vote though. Eh? Oh, Monica, you don't feel right about being in front of a camera yet. But laptop for your blog is working fine for it. Oh yes, Monica. Like, if anyone, you can see all of the chat and stuff, can't you? If anyone is interested, it's one single meeple, right, Monica? On Board Game Geek. I'm not getting the. I don't want to butcher the name of your blog and people be searching for something that isn't there. I was reading your post actually. Did you post today about travel games? I don't always comment on things. I'm bad for like kind of thinking of something to say in comments. I lurk in things generally, which I know is like I'm always talking on this, but yeah, generally on the internet. I'm a reader. I'm a lurker. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Oh, Matt, you didn't find the rules for Carnegie too hard, but the strategy's very hard. Yeah. Like the looking at all the stuff, like a load of Euros, when you see all of the little tracks and stuff and all of the pieces and everything, kind of to begin with, before you've even read the rulebook, you think, yeah, this is going to be a lot to take on. But as soon as we'd read through the rulebook, it's like, okay, well, I get an idea of what we need to do, but kind of, and the first few turns, I always try and just do something. Don't worry too much about what it gets. I say that's what I try to do, and I Rach would disagree with that because sometimes I'm sitting there for like 5 minutes or more agonizing over things. That is just like that's how I enjoy playing though. But yeah, like halfway through the game, you kind of think, I would have done this completely differently now, and I still don't know if that would be a good idea. It feels like a very deep game. But is it a lot to add on the solo? I haven't looked at the solo yet, but that's what I'm going to be doing because I feel like trying to think of the strategy for 2 players as well will be very, very difficult. Yeah, one single meeple. I got it right. A new one is coming up today. Yeah, get on the Board Game Geek blogs, everyone, and subscribe. Highly recommended. Right. So what do I need to do now? We've talked about games I've been playing in the real world, outside the YouTube world. But let's talk about voting. So, I ask, and you can see, like, if you're on Patreon, or you don't have to be on Patreon, there's a specific section of the Discord for patrons where you can post requests, but you don't need to be on there to post me a request. You can tell me in a comment or a message or something. If you're interested in something and I haven't been mentioning it, then yeah, as happened last month for I hadn't really looked at First Rat very much. I'd seen Carnegie and thought it looked cool, but couldn't afford like the pledge at the time. Probably, I'm saying like First Rat and Carnegie, and I think Living Forest got requested and voted for last month, and I picked them up, and there'll be playthroughs at least for Carnegie, and First Rat already exists as a playthrough. I'm saying suggest things to me and request them, and they could very well end up on something. But yes, let's have a look at what the options are going to be for voting this month. And yeah, I hope you're interested. So yeah, after this, I am going to go on Patreon, patreon.com/slickerdrips. If it's not too late to sign up, I'm going to go on to Patreon and make the post for the vote. So if you are a patron and wondering where it is, I haven't done it yet. Right, so let's have a look at the options. Hey Mike, Carnegie Solo is a simple, straightforward AI to run. Oh, brilliant! I'm really looking forward to doing that then. Hopefully, I'll still get a few practices in to try and not be completely hopeless strategy wise. I did well in the multiplayer games, but yeah, you never know. The bot might have some sneaky ways. Right then, so playthrough vote for this month. We have My Father's Work, which is a kind of like a bespoke, is that the right word for it? Kind of game from Renegade Games. It was a Kickstarter, and very lavish game trays, beautiful components. If you can click on a picture right here. I know. Talking about the look and the components of a game before you're actually talking about the gameplay. But look at the picture. It's got beautiful things in it. But yeah, it's also is it Artisans of Splendent Vale as well? Renegade did, where they're these big Kickstarter games that, because they're these big special things, might not come to retail. Anyway, it's designed by T.C. Petty, who I know from, he's done many things, but I know most from Xenon Profiteer, which I think, was that in my top 10 kind of overlooked games? I've still got it. I would still kind of rave about it because I don't think it got its dues, although maybe it did, and I didn't notice. Anyway, this is a kind of mad scientist game where we're not all kind of trying to build Frankenstein monsters. I think we have different kinds of goals, but it's a worker placement game where the worker placement spots are in kind of a book and will change over the course of the game. And it's a game where we play. I've heard it described as a kind of legacy game crammed into one session. It's a kind of big game. You can see on the recommended time there, 3 hours. But you play through generations of scientists, so you will there's multiple rounds where you'll play as a scientist, and then you will play as their descendants and get to carry over some of their resources and works into the next phase. And you have goals to try and achieve throughout these generations, but the overall goal of the game, you have this masterwork that you are trying to achieve. So yeah, love the theme, but also as well as all of this this gameplay stuff, you have a lot of story. Like, I can't remember the amount that was described, but novel length stories, because there are a load of choices as well. Players will vote on outcomes of things. I don't know the specifics because basically it hasn't arrived yet. I'm waiting for it. It should have arrived, but yeah, we will make choices and they will affect both the story that we are all playing through. And I think I'm right in saying that those choices can also affect the game we're playing itself, which worker placement spots will be available. For example, I'm sure it has more impact than that. There are 3 scenarios included in it, but in that there's meant to be a load of replayability and stuff. Now, I'm kind of being hypothetical about it, but that's just because, I've seen a load of stuff and it isn't quite here yet. It is an app-based thing, and I think that's a bit kind of in the air as well, so maybe it's a good thing that it didn't arrive when it was meant to. Hey Sod, it's there's meant to be an app, and I think the app got pulled because something was wrong with it, but it's meant to be very nearly finished. There is a web version of it that's kind of, I need to look into it and check the latest information, but the web version's not quite the same or not quite finished as well. But yeah, I'm really, really keen on it. It sounds amazing, but yeah, it's one of these kind of big fancy experiences. It's like, I don't know, to buy, to back, it was probably like £100, I would say. So, on the price of like a big deluxe Vita Lacerda, for example. So yeah, I thought it would be a good one as well, since you will be able to order it from Renegade. It would be good to kind of have an example of it and see how it plays and if it would interest you. But yeah, Wei-Jan, as you say, unfortunately it hasn't got solo. I think that's because there are threads actually in BGG asking about it, and it's kind of, it has all been geared around multiplayer and the choices players will make and stuff and the story they experience. I'll have to see. Yeah, once I've got the game in my hands, you could two-hand it and stuff, but I know what you mean. It will be lovely to have solo in it, but yeah, it might be just one of those ones that it doesn't work for. Either way, I'm really fired up for it, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Hey, Bonnie Crow, how's it going? So yes, My Father's Work. I felt like I was supposed to go through these just as these are just options on the list, but the point as well is for me to tell you about them as much as I know about them. Little sip. Right, next up, we have Star Wars Outer Rim Unfinished Business. Star Wars Outer Rim kind of passed me by. I think I kind of just lumped it in with the kind of rebellions and armadas and things, and games I'm not really very fussed about. But I do have a soft spot for some Star Wars. I wouldn't say, I haven't seen any of the series or all of the new films that they said. I like the Star Wars films, though. I know enough about them. I know who Lando is. I really liked Solo, which apparently is not the done thing. But anyway, Star Wars Outer Rim. I've played the base game, trying to learn all of this stuff, and it's basically you're smuggling around space. You are, well, I was Lando, and you are fulfilling missions. You're trying to dodge patrols. You've got kind of relationships with the various factions, the rebels, the Imperials, all of that stuff, the Hutts, and you're trying to, there's pick up and deliver involved, and you can take some cargo. You're trying to line things up, get cargo, get missions, and all of that stuff around. But it's got a solo mode in it. So I've played against this bot because people have been raving about this new expansion that's just come out. Because Outer Rim's from like a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. This expansion has just come out, and in kind of Fantasy Flight fashion, all of the decks in the game are now kind of doubled, it seems, essentially. So there are more options in all of that sense. And it includes nice new additions, more characters, all of that stuff. But if in a solo perspective, the solo was nice in the base game. I didn't feel like that excited about it though. But Unfinished Business adds personalities to all of the bots. So you can pick someone to play against in the solo game in the base game, but they all play the same. It's just a deck describing what they do kind of randomly. Whereas this expansion promises to have different personalities for them as well. So would you like to see this in action? And it would have the Unfinished Business turned on. And you can see a personality of someone. I would probably be, well, I just like being Lando, basically. But you can be Chewbacca in the new expansion. And you can be a load of characters that, I know some of them, but yeah, a load of them I don't know. Outer Rim felt like Firefly Star Wars Edition. I've never played Firefly. Is Firefly solo compatible as well? Or is it hard to get as well? Yeah, I remember seeing it about, but I haven't seen Firefly either. I think I've seen the first episode of it. It's one of those things like a load of things, like Star Trek, like Next Generation. It's all of those things that I meant to watch it. I just got sidetracked. I didn't not like the first episode. I've seen that first episode of Next Generation about 3 times. But where they have Q and there's a trial or something, right? I'll get to it one day. Right, so yeah, Outer Rim is one of the options. Guild of Merchant Explorers. This is by Matthew Dunstan and Brett Gilbert, who have teamed up on many, many, many games, but people like me will always just keep going on about Elysium, which is an absolutely fantastic game that, yeah, I don't think got its dues at the time. I don't think I've ever done a playthrough for it, but yeah, I feel like it will always hang around in my collection. But enough about past glories. Guild of Merchant Explorers is a new game that seems to be, I've heard it referred to as kind of Roll and Write-esque, but it kind of looks and sounds Kingdom Builder-esque, and Kingdom Builder is a game I absolutely love. Roll and Write is a style of games I absolutely love, and Matthew Dunstan and Brett Gilbert are designers I absolutely love. So really looking forward to this. I mean, look at the maps that we're making out here. So yeah, would you like to see some Guild of Merchant Explorers? It's got a solo mode included in it as well, so we could do the solo, we could do the multiplayer. Like if you've got a strong preference as well. The votes, I just kind of put the game titles on there, but if you've got a strong preference for you'd like to see it solo, or you'd like to see it multiplayer, let me know as well in the, well, wherever you want. There's loads of places you can get hold of me. You can play Firefly solo. Maybe that's one to put on my list of exploring games. I was looking at a bundle because I make the mistake of not leaving buying groups on Facebook and seeing these things and getting tempted by them when I shouldn't be buying games. I was looking at, probably because I've just been playing Outer Rim, I was looking at Imperial Assault, a bundle, which I shouldn't be. That's like a money sink that you shouldn't be thinking about. We used to have Imperial Assault when it first came out. I remember it being like kind of a signal of games that aren't our style, because it didn't used to have an app and stuff. It used to be, one person would play the baddies and everyone else would play the goodies. And Rach and I playing that, I think she was the good guys and I was the bad guys, and her not wanting to go through a door in the scenario because she knew bad things would happen, and I had to be kind of like, well, I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen behind there. I'm the secret dungeon keeper. Yeah, it didn't work out basically, but yeah, it's got a co-op mode now. I'd like to try it, and I've been painting things. It would be cool. So yeah, Guild of Merchant Explorers, Planet Unknown. I covered this back for its original Kickstarter with its prototype pieces and stuff. Having said prototype pieces, it was pretty nice. It had, oh, what's the name? Is it a Lazy Susan? What's the name of the spinny thing that is mainly for food and stuff? But this is a polyomino style tessellating goodness thing of a game that has one of them in it. Look at it over here. So yeah, it's got this lovely buffet of Tetris pieces that you can pick out of. It's got kind of deluxe and normal editions. I remember it being absolutely fantastic. It's been a few years ago now. Like I'm describing the game. What can you say about it? It's got normal and deluxe editions. How descriptive! But you're basically laying out tiles and terraforming a planet, and you've got kind of barrels out getting in your way, and you can build over them. But it's going to be like it's going to give you negative points and stuff. I remember it being absolutely beautiful. I have a final copy. It seems this gets posted about a bit that it's been hard to get, and people are after it. But yeah, I've got one. Would you like to see me play through it again? I can't remember what I did at the first time. Did I just do an overview? Did I do a solo playthrough? I'd like to do something for it as well. Would you like to see it? Oh no. That moment when you realise that you should have looked up the pronunciation of some things. The years and years I used to do of French will be very disappointed. I never knew this word though. Ultra? Anyway, I picked up a load of games kind of just after the expo, and this looked like a cool co-op. It's by Antoine Boza and also John Grumpf. It looks like kind of Last Bastion ghost stories, kind of. I don't think it is. It doesn't re-implement or anything like that. It's probably just kind of visually from the box. But this is a cooperative story-based game. So it uses like an RPG setting, I think, and is apparently not as heavy as I have been thinking it is going to be. But, you know, the Empire is going to fall. We need to stop all the bad guys coming in. It's apparently got a very cool story. It's apparently a really neat system. Would you like to see some Ultra, I think. Lazy Susan. Oh yeah, I'm not looking again. Kingdom Builder. Not a fan of Kingdom Builder. Rach. Hey, I would go as far to say maybe hate's too strong. Strongly disliked Kingdom Builder from the very beginning. I really, really like it. Yeah, it's a good intro to the game. Don't understand the hate for it. I would say that like it was quite an early game for us getting, probably one of the many from Rodo raving about it, and I'm on Rodo's side if he's still on that side. But yeah, I remember people at our game group for the store that used to be open near us, and people online and stuff would always say that like it's just draw a card and put something down. What game is that? There's no gameplay, there's no choice there. But there is. The choice just isn't in the card that you play. The choice is in where you are placing things. And I remember from like playing, I don't think the app is available anymore. I think it's one of those ones that you can't play on 64-bit or something like that. Stopped it working. But yeah, it's all about in where you are placing to give yourself these options later on. If you're spread out in such a way that you are forced to place things in a certain place too often, you are going to lose and feel like you're kind of on rails. But it's in the kind of placement of stuff that you leave yourself open to other options later on. And then Winter Kingdom I really enjoyed as well. It's kind of spin-off of a similar thing for a couple of years ago now. Hey, Matthew Dunstan. I'm embarrassed now talking about people when they can hear me going on about them. Luckily, I'd already said all of the nice things. Mike. Guild of Merchant Explorers. There we go. We're trying to work out acronyms. It looks great. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope everyone votes for it. Lazy Susan. I got something right at least. Planet Unknown. I want to play The Search for Planet X. I really, really enjoyed it. I think I did a solo playthrough at the time, right? It's one that's a lot of deduction games. Like Rach isn't as keen on deduction as a thing. I absolutely love deduction as a genre. Like Alchemists, the game itself was a little bit too mean and maybe a bit too involved to just kind of breeze in and out of. But yeah, I loved the deduction element of Alchemists. Awkward Guests is a bit wonky and seems a bit unfair sometimes, but I still love the kind of deduction element of it. Cryptid is an absolutely fantastic one, but I think my favourite might be Search for Planet X. But part of that is, as you say, a great solo mode. Planet Unknown is great. It's hard to get. Is it Planet Unknown that's hard to get right now? I think it's probably because it was like it's a true like not true, that's not fair, but a kind of a Kickstarter that is needed a Kickstarter to exist, and might not have many copies past that. Or maybe they're still delivering, and then after it's all dispatched, you'll find out, the copies that they had left to put out there. Oh, good support for Planet Unknown. Nice to see. Jeff! Super chat. That's huge. Thank you so much, Jeff. 11 solid place. Oh, thank you. I will keep it all up. There's streams. There's recorded playthroughs, all of it coming up. And yeah, I'll send you love to Marty. He is currently... I need like a remote Marty cam, don't I? That can see him on the radiator downstairs. Which is where he has been all day, kind of. On his back. Sunbathing. But yes, he will return to the streams one day, I hope. When it starts getting a bit colder, probably. Leave. No, you don't have to leave. I'll never not say nice things. I do like it's. If I feel like it's one of those autopilot things that I always just keep mentioning Elysium. That you feel locked into these things that I kind of say all the time, and then you realise, oh, I've been saying that for like 6 years now. I should probably think of something different to say, but I still agree with it. Awkward guest solo, yeah. I think, yeah, I enjoyed awkward guest solo as well. It is a bit wonky, and I think in multiplayer as well, it is fun. I've had fun every time I played it, but I would say it's not necessarily been deduction that won the day for people in the multiplayer mode. It was still a fun experience, but I'll just say that like it can just be getting lucky. The kind of key thing maybe sometimes, this is why I need timestamps in the video because I get sidetracked. But well, I like chatting. Yeah, if you ask a question in awkward guests and nobody can answer you, you get to draw a load of cards that no one else can see, because then when you dump cards, you can just dump those cards that you just saw and no one else did. I think that has won the game. Like, it might not happen every game, of course, and I suppose the more players that you get, the less chance there is of that happening. But I think in all of our multiplayer games, the person that won is the person that got to look at a load of extra information. And I suppose, like, it depends on luck of the draw as well. They might just draw cards that didn't help them at all. Try the advanced side. Have I tried the advanced side of Search for Planet X board? I saw when I was looking up all stuff about my father's work that there's like a deluxe kind of component pack for Search for Planet X, which I know, deluxe things shouldn't be tempted by, should just be happy with the game working as it does. But shiny, happy things are always tempting, aren't they? Jeff, you watched the awkward guest. Oh yeah, I did a solo play, wasn't I? Yeah, I think I was like, I think there was kind of a key thing that I wasn't getting in that awkward guest stream. I need to do it again. Black Sonata is a good one for solo as well, but that is solo only. We need to try. We've got it, and because I absolutely need to play it with someone, and it's 2-player only as well, so it's a bit more awkward to get playtime for. But we've got the cryptid 2-player only one. I really want to get that done because we loved the cryptid. We loved like normal cryptid as 2 players as well. There's a solo mode for Elysium in the works. I mean, kind of is well, I suppose like if it's secret, you can't say. But will something Elysium crop up at some point, or are we just all hoping still? I've been hoping. I think it's just kind of the tokens in Planet X. I didn't look into it too much because I was trying not to tempt myself because yeah, I'll just get lost in the deluxification of everything, which I have been doing. Well, actually, I've just been tempted. It's like tokens and things for Eldritch Horror. I haven't bought them yet, but I've been so tempted by some of the things that you can see on Etsy. Right, there is there's another deduction game I think as well from the publisher of Awkward Guest. They did kickstart another deduction game, which is another one that I just couldn't afford at the time. But that seemed cool as well, just because. I liked Awkward Guests. CO2, Second Chance. So this was requested. I say it was requested. The request was, I think, just for more Vita Lacerda stuff. Dr. Sam the Man requested it. I think just like, I would like to see some more Vita Lacerda things. I would always like to see some more Vita Lacerda things. But thinking back, I think we've kind of replayed most of them, But something I don't think I've replayed since the time is CO2 Second Chance, which is, it's Vital's co-op. You can still play it competitively and in its old form and stuff, but hey, the co-op is where it's at. So yeah, that would be the next one to go back to. Would you like to see a brand new playthrough? We could stream some CO2 Second Chance. I'd love to. I'm always happy to do some more Vital Lacerda. I suppose like the brain bending, relearning it and stuff, and panic of whether I'm getting it all right live is a factor, but it's far outweighed by I love Vital Lacerda games, and CO2 is an absolutely fantastic one. You can't see the highlighted thing there. Arkwright, the card game. This is kind of in the vein of Ultra. Things buying other things that have been requested on board game sites, being a bit short of free postage or an offer that was on, and then seeing in the offers section or the cheaper section, oh, Arkwright, the card game. Yeah, I never played Arkwright. I've heard it's mystically good. It's hard to get hold of, I think, now. But, a great big, long, heavy Euro game. And I think the card game replicates that. It looks like a bit quicker, but still, look at that weight. That's like, isn't On Mars like 4.05, something like that? 4.1? No, it's probably heavier than that. But yeah, a big, meaty kind of industry, resource production kind of game. But yeah, there was a card game version of it. Maybe that's more manageable. It supports solo. Would you like to see some Arkwright the card game? Oh, it's not secret. Oh, Space Cat. Oh, that's good then. Okay, I need to... I don't know where that sentence was going. I'm glad that they know there's there's people like me. There's old fogies like me still banging on about Elysium. Yeah, I'll do a play. We should put that on the vote, and then we'll spread the word. There's a Midnight Murder mystery game on Kickstarter right now. Oh, nice. Oh, but it's a bit pricey. Mike Delicio loved the solo mode for CO2. I loved the solo mode for CO2 as well. I love the co-op mode as well. Well, it is just the co-op mode now, isn't it? But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And as much as I loved old CO2, I don't think I would ever play it competitively again now. Next, we are moving into... Oh, Beyond the Sun. This is one. We tidied up in the living room and my kind of games I need to play corner. And I'd actually forgotten that probably... about 9 months ago, I bought Beyond the Sun because there was an offer on, and I didn't get a chance to cover it at the time, and I know it got raved about for a short period. I don't know if it still gets raved about. Hey, it's got an 8 rating on Board Game. It's nearly in the top 100 games. What am I talking about? Yeah, I heard loads of great things about Beyond the Sun, but, games keep coming in, games keep needing to be filmed. It got sidetracked, but, yeah, I've dug it out from the recesses of my mind, and yeah, would you like to see some Beyond the Sun in action? Because I'd like to play it. Then we have Welcome to the Moon is the other request. Yeah, I did a couple of playthroughs for like, did we do some multiplayer? And I did a solo. No, I did solo, didn't I? But I was doing kind of just the normal game, and then I did one that was a bit of the campaign, but I haven't really gone back to it again, just because there's a lot of stuff about. But if you would like, I've had plenty of requests over the last few months, and when I've been soliciting requests, Welcome to the Moon keep coming up. So would you like me to see me do some more things in there? Because the if you haven't seen anything about it, Welcome to series, one of the right up there in roll and writes, one of the best. But Welcome to the Moon is kind of like 8 of them, 8 different roll and write games, all rolled into one, using similar elements and different rules and stuff. There's a campaign mode linking it all together. But basically, yeah, if I do a couple more chapters of Welcome to the Moon, they'd essentially be different things because, as I say, the boards behave very, very differently. And then, well, we'll see if these get votes. These are kind of my inclusions. Hot off the heels of, as I was saying, my Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror kind of renewed obsession. Not renewed for Eldritch Horror. I hadn't played it until like 3 weeks ago. But spinning off of that, going back to kind of maybe the first 10 videos I ever did, one of them was for the original release of Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. I played it. I enjoyed it. No expansion. It's kind of another same story as kind of a lot of these things of kind of maybe the card game of Arkham Horror Third Edition, maybe that kind of liked it. Yeah, have I seen it all? Got the DLC chapter for it. Maybe it's waning a little bit. Sold it. That was years ago now. Now, hot off the heels of all of the Arkhamness that I've been getting back and enjoying. Not going to get the card game. I still don't think that's going to ever be for me. But yeah, basically, I've got Mansions of Madness again. I'm gonna like use the minis to play Eldritch Horror and stuff. It's basically got a ton of stuff for it now. There's a scenario on a train and a boat and stuff. Would you like to see like something new with expansions and things? I'm feeling as I'm saying it that the answer's probably not really. We've seen plenty of it, but hey, I've put it out there. So there we go. I think that is the options for this month, right? Yes, there we go. I'm going to make a post in a minute, basically, with all those on as a proper vote. There we go. We can fade that away. And yeah, you can decide on what you would like to see. And that's basically what I'm going to be relearning, practicing, getting on board with for the rest of this weekend. If one shoots into the lead, that's what's getting filmed next week. I'll try and get as many done as I can. You played Beyond the Sun stuff. We're looking. Chat keeps snapping back. Keep hearing Beyond the Sun's so good, but look at it and just see. I did think that about Beyond the Sun when I got it. Like there's some lovely graphic design on it, and I think I have. I don't want to harp on about it all the time, but it does keep coming up that in Rio Grande games, there's kind of what was the. Was it a Pinchback and Riddle game that we enjoyed like parts of? And then one of the things I remember moaning about loads was like the graphic design on it. Let's not get back into it. But yeah, I did think that there was like, there's cool space stuff going on some bits, but also there was like these great big cards or tiles that were out there that were just like great big white areas with little text on them. But yeah, I know what you mean. But I haven't played it yet. Maybe it doesn't stay like that. I've got conflicting views. Mikhail's played it on Bugging Arena and it seems very nice. Jeff's played it twice on Bugging Arena and wasn't a big fan. Yeah, I'm still undecided then. Well, yeah, I still haven't played it either way. It's been sealed, hidden behind other games on a shelf for ages and ages. Welcome to the Moon is like, I think, if you did decide to get it, the first chapter, and the first chapter is simpler than any Welcome to. The second, maybe that gets like on par with it, but it does lend itself. It introduces itself gradually. It doesn't just like Welcome to New Las Vegas is your core Welcome to with much more complicated scoring things. And it did, our first couple of games of New Vegas were just like, I don't really get what you mean by this scoring thing. I don't really get what I should be doing. It did click eventually, but it took a lot longer. Whereas, probably because it's got all those 8 different modes, Welcome to the Moon can kind of introduce itself a bit more gradually. And it does get a lot more complicated, but it eases you in a bit more. Steve's played all 8. Yeah, but even I think I've only played 5 of them. And yeah, as you say, all so different, so good. Smurfenright? What is Smurfenright? Oh, we've been like, because Roll and Write and Flip and Fill and stuff always exclude each other. 2022 is half finished. Do you have a favourite game out of all the ones you have played so far? Are we just talking games of 2022? Because yeah, declaring that my game of the month is it's a new to me game, but it's a game from 2013. Let me have a look at. Can I see just games? And I'm probably just gonna have to decide, like, remember in my head, aren't I? Like, I can't. I should have thought about this and put my phone on screen. I thought about while I scroll back. I thought I wasn't going to do it this week because there's already a kind of big talky stream, this week. But the previews, it'll be very early and a bit rough, maybe a bit sparse. But the I can't think of the name of it. Essen 2022 preview has just gone up on Board Game Geek, and in extension, the Tabletop Together tool for Essen 2022 has gone up, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. It's kind of feeling a bit unlikely, but regardless, I'm going to be excited and looking at the games that are coming out in it, and I thought like that might be a nice stream rather than me just doing it all behind the scenes, and instead of just waiting until there's a billion games on it and trying to do them all in one go, it might be nice in a stream having a look at some of the things in the list and having a look at what's been put up so far. Do you think of that? People called it verb and right for a while, so Smurf is an excellent verb. Oh, people call it verb and right. Yeah, the Las Vegas one is tricky. Could be from any year. Well, yeah, I haven't played Gloomhaven this year, so I can't just say Gloomhaven because that's just my favorite game. Let's have a look. I'm going to try and lean towards like brand new games. Not necessarily 2022 games. It might be like, because I didn't go to Essen last year, so some things I didn't manage to get until much later. Let's have a look. Maracaibo the Uprising jumps out. I didn't play Obsession before it's always been out of print and unavailable to me, so I'm not going to pick one. I'm gonna break your rules straight away, because we can kind of look at as well. You can look back on this when I do the top 10 at the end of the year. Although Obsession can't be on it, can it? Because it's like 20 whatever. As far as I'm concerned, I couldn't get hold of it until 2022. So yeah, Maracaibo Uprising in terms of expansions, Obsession and its expansion, but they both came together. Valeria Card Kingdom's Darksworn, absolutely loved that, but again, already loved Valeria Card Kingdoms before any of that. Try and exclude Kickstarters and things. Karuka didn't get released this year, and I understand, it's not widely available, and it's an expensive, physical dexterity game. You have to buy this great big wooden board, and because it's all bespoke and handmade and stuff, it's harder to get. It's pricier, but did splash out on Karuka, and I do absolutely love it as a kind of, I don't know, I can't say a snooker fan. I haven't, until this year, I hadn't watched snooker since I was a child watching it with my nan. I don't think so, but yeah, I do like it when it comes on. But yeah, pretending that I can transfer Karuka skills into snooker skills, and then realizing I don't even have any Karuka skills, so what is there to transfer? I see you, Kyle. Thank you for being here. Hey, Jacob. Would I like to do another playthrough of Snowdonia Deluxe Master Set? Yes, I would. I could put that, actually. That's a good suggestion. I'm going to open a new tab on my browser so I remember to put that in the votes. That's a good one to go back to, actually, because that feels like it's been ages since I did the Master Set playthrough, and there's a billion scenarios in that, and then there was like the Isle of Man expansion that I've got and never opened. Yeah, that would be a good one to revisit. And yeah, I have backed. Yeah, I'm backed in the situation of I can't back things because I can't afford to. But I did break my rules and back the Oranienburger Canal, and I'm looking forward to Ottawa, which is Essen this year, right? New heavy Uwe Rosenberg games. I can't wait. Like it's still like a every other year cycle, isn't it? Like we had Hallertau in 2020. And then, like, they've still been bringing out games, but, like, kind of lighter ones last year. But we're back to, we've got a double bill of heavier ones this year. Oh, Jeff, Obsession in your top 5 favourite games. Yeah, I know it's been out a while, but I just couldn't get hold of it until the last cycle of reprints. I think it had been on pre-order for months before that as well. So, yeah, I would say kind of standouts. What have I said? Maracaibo Uprising. Obsession. I'm not including Kickstarters in this. These are just like things I've done prototypes and playthroughs for. I'm just including like final things that I have, and I might not have played through them all. But yeah, Maracaibo Uprising, Obsession Upstairs Downstairs, Valeria Card Kingdom's Darksworn, the new Great Western Trail, but that seems a bit cheaty because it's tweaked a bit, but it's still Great Western Trail, isn't it? Karuka, I mentioned. Super skill pinball, I want to say, because I love some super skill pinball, even though Ramp It Up is just more tables. But I do really love them. They're not new games. Wayfarers of the South Tigris is a Kickstarter. You can't have that. Euthia, I want to say as well, I'm vindicated. Well, we don't know the full details, but Euthia, it was really sad when Euthia got cancelled from its expansion Kickstarter. It got cancelled and the publisher shut down from it. It was really, really gutting because Euthia is fantastic. They've been really great in getting it out there, and it seemed like it was doing well. But yeah, whatever happened with it, it was terrible. But I had faith that it'll come back at some point. Just gotta hope for it. And then it's coming back, right, from Steamforged Games. Like, I don't know the details. Hopefully, like, it's all the designers are still involved and everything's going to be similar with the expansion. Hopefully, my playthrough is still going to be applicable. But yeah, hey, you gotta have faith. It came back sooner than I would have thought as well. So yeah, those games. I think they would be the standout ones. Scythe again. I can't have Scythe. I loved it last time. Seize the Bean. We might be Seize the Bean. I know I said I wasn't going to pick one. It's probably Seize the Bean, to be honest. But yeah, like, not far off all of that. So that's about 5 things, isn't it? But also, yeah, as I say, when I was talking about the game of the month kind of thing, Eldritch Horror, like, and I wonder if that's I've been I do kind of get fixated on things anyway. I tend to, even things that I really like, I go off for ages and then will be kind of hyper focused and obsessive about for a little while and then get burnt out and then not touch them for ages. But I wonder if, like, I don't think really I've played that many Ameritrash kind of games. And I know that's kind of, the terms aren't as applicable anymore, and so many things are hybrids, and yeah, they're not as delineated as perhaps once they were. But dicey based resolution games, which I have been very grouchy about in the past, I wonder if it's kind of not playing many of them for such a long time. Maybe it's kicking in now, and a break from it's done me good. But whatever the reasoning is, I've absolutely been loving Eldritch Horror, and I want everything for it, and I want to I want to play it all of the time. But there's not time for that. Hey, you can see I've even started a new obsession. Well, not a new obsession, a revived obsession. Hey, look at that. There's a trumpet player. I painted things. I got Mansions of Madness, and I painted something for it. I found there's a great painting channel. I know there's some amazing painters out there, but the channel was just called Easy Mini Painting, and he's got an attitude that I feel like I can get behind more of. You could do so many great things and make this look fantastic and spend loads of time on it, but you could also just get some paint on it and get it on the table. And that's kind of my problem of, like, I've never been a very good painter, but the few kind of times, I think about a year ago I was doing it with Descent, I never see a game through to get it painted because my mind drifts to other things after a few weeks. But yeah, I'm trying to go with the attitude of, don't get bogged down in it looking perfect, just paint some things and get it finished. Right, what was I talking about? Did I finish that? Talking about all of the games? Oh yeah, I was going on about the alchemy things, wasn't I? That's probably going to be one of the big things of the year for me. But also, I think Carnegie would be on there as well. I know I've only played it a couple of times, but yeah, I think Carnegie is pretty special. What have I missed out on? Stars of Acarios. I have seen other people flash up with this Stars of Acarios. I haven't, like, no one's been in touch about it, so as far as I know, I'm not getting hold of it. Is it out? It's not on It is a Kickstarter, or it has been a Kickstarter, and now it's out. A narrative-driven. Oh wait, I should just get this on the browser that you can all see, shouldn't I? Leave Snowdonia on there, because I'm putting that on the vote. Copy the link. Come on, copy the link, please. Paste that. And then bring the browser back. There we go. Yeah, rather than me just reading nothing out to you, you could see it as well. So, 1 to 4 players, a narrative-driven cooperative campaign game for 1 to 4 players set in the Ikarios galaxy. Throughout Stars of Ikarios, you will fight in epic space battles, upgrade your ship, and explore the fringes of space. It's cooperative as well. You know, as soon as I hear space battles, I'm put off, but cooperative space battles, I'm all for. Each pillar works together to create a unified and epic sci-fi board game experience. I mean, I'm not signed in on this browser, but were I signed in on this browser, I'm gonna, in my other browser where I am logged in, I'm subscribing to that. That sounds cool. I have seen, has Paul on Gaming Rules just got this? I haven't seen his playthrough, but I've seen something flash up for this. So it has been a Kickstarter and it is out. It's been a game founded and it's now out. Sounds really cool. To be honest, narrative-driven co-op, I'm in. I don't really need to hear much more than that. But yeah, I'd love to give that a go. I've got no plans at the moment, and I wonder, like, if it's just been a game found, it may be hard to get hold of. Like some people are selling it in America, and it seems a bit pricey. Like, I'm not putting it down for that. I'm sure whatever it costs, it's got plenty of stuff in the box for that. But yeah, I'm thinking in terms of my personal finances. Which, you know, the way the prices of everything are going, who knows these days? Where was I? Super Skill Pinball, absolutely fantastic. Can't wait for the Star Trek one. Although Paul has sent me those prototype sheets. I have got the solo-wise anyway. I can play those 4 sheets. From solo. Zod playthroughs for Oaths 1 and Burn Cycle. I would love to. Another one that, yeah, I haven't, you know... I think Oaths 1 was on my top 10 anticipated of the year, I think. It looks glorious. And it is another one of those that when people post about their Kickstarter arrival in it, is this just beautiful wall of boxes. I'm incredibly jealous. It sounds fantastic. You know, great big adventure minis kind of a game. Yeah, I'm always up for something like that. But yeah, I don't know if you can order a copy of it. I think it's just Kickstarter deliveries, right? But yeah, it's not one that's. That's another one. I'm on the wrong browser again, aren't I? I'm on the browser that you can't see. There we go. Can we get some nice pictures up of it? Oh, look at those heroes. It looks beautiful. I was kind of I didn't play a demo of it at the expo, but I was leaning over people that were getting demos. It looked gorgeous and right on my street. But yeah, I haven't been offered a copy, and I didn't back it. I couldn't afford at the time. But it's one, as with Burn Cycle, I would absolutely love to, but as far as I know, there aren't plans for that to happen right now anyway. Although I think Burn Cycle is like going to be available to order quite soon. So if there is massive demand for Burn Cycle, I would try and get it done. But it's another one that, like, it's pricey. You know, Chip Theory make their bespoke, beautiful games, but yeah, they're a lot of my budget. Of my budget, there ain't much budget. Hey. Anyone, this isn't directed just at you. Anyone watching now and in the future, that budget can be increased by helping me out at patreon.com/slickerdrips. Quick plug. I've seen the Seeds of Bean. Yeah, we've done 2 playthroughs for Seeds of Bean so far. Oh yeah, I should. If Snowdonia gets a load of votes, I'll have a look at what people have done playthroughs for and try and do a scenario that's not covered as much. I think, because we used to have the old one and a smattering of expansions for it, I think we might have done Trans Australia in the past and Bluebell Line. Isle of Man I've definitely not done because that's in a sealed thing. Wait. Oh yeah, Monica, you're like top print and player, right? But I feel if you started trying to paint mini for games, it'd be an unfinished project and the game would never get played. Yeah, we have to kind of. I've done it in the past with things like way back when a load of my paints, and they're not very good anymore, are from 2007 or something when I played Warhammer for a bit. It never lasted that long. I never painted my whole army. I used to get told off in Games Workshop for not having them painted. At least base coat them. I'm busy. But yeah, I have kind of these bursts of doing things sometimes. And there was a big one when I got Madara, and we absolutely loved Madara. Painted up a load of the characters, I think, and I'm really pleased with them when I look at them now. But we just had to kind of play with unfinished things. If I ever go to like we're not playing it until I've painted it, we'll never play it. And kind of at the moment, I was only going to do the heroes because I've got kind of, I think Mansions of Madness comes with 8 characters, and there's a couple of expansions in there with the thing that I bought. So there's like maybe 16 characters, something like that. I've nearly painted them all. Like it's probably taken me about 2.5 hours to do 4, which is pretty quick. And that is because I'm being like slapdash in a way, but they look pretty nice to me as someone who can't do kind of highlights and that kind of stuff and loses patience with dry brushing and things like that. It's mainly get some colours on and then put a wash on them to make them look half decent. But I feel like I have got, and they are smaller as well. Like I've seen Destiny's just flash up at the bottom of the chat. I don't know if they're quite as small as Destiny's minis, but they're smaller than normal minis anyway. So maybe that's a plus as well. That there's less detail to worry about. So yeah, as I said, that easy mini painting channel. I haven't been going exactly for what he's been doing because they're using different colours. I'm trying this time as well. I get lost in, when I was doing it last year for Descent, watching these tutorials of people that are amazing painters, and I want to try and get the exact paint so I can do that as well. And sometimes it works terribly because I can't paint as well as they can, and sometimes it looks really lovely. But this time I'm trying to just be like, don't spend any more money. You've got plenty of paints. If I haven't quite got that green, just use this other green instead. It'll be fine. Who knows? Like, try not to worry as much as I have in the past about, well, it's got to match up to the original artwork. Don't worry about it. Just get it painted. No one's worrying about the original artwork. Just make it so you can tell who it is. Make it so they're not just all grey on the table. And it's going all right so far. But yeah, it's only been a few days in. I might we'll see how long this painting thing lasts. Right, where was I? I like this. I like that we can combine this with a Q&A as well. We don't need to do a specific Q&A stream. Usually Rach is here. Like, Rach came home, didn't she, last time, and we had like an impromptu Q&A at the end of it. And White Carnegie's your game of the year so far. I can see why. It is pretty fantastic, I think. And I haven't even played the solo yet. Until Darwin's Journey. Yeah, Darwin's Journey is another one that I late pledged for Darwin's Journey, I think, about a year or more ago. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, that was basically just me at the 0-1 table. Yeah, just fawning over it while people are trying to have a nice demo. Yeah, the customs fees. I don't think I've been hit by anything here for customs fees for a while. But when you do get a hit for them, it's like it's 20% on the thing you bought plus the postage cost, plus there's about a £15 Royal Mail fee for them having to charge you for something. It's a horrible system that I really don't like. But yeah, it feels like that hasn't happened for a little while. But I think it's more that people are more aware of what to put on like the customs labels, because it used to happen for like prototypes, which is a real shame when that happens, because the prototype isn't worth the amount that like a game would be worth, so there shouldn't be customs duty on it, because it's not a product, is it? Sometimes it's just it's just printed components and like pasted up cards and things. So like when customs charges used to come on that of like £40 or something like that, just like, you shouldn't be charging me anything on this. You want to have Destiny's painted, but you're not going to do it. I was thinking when I'd bought the Mansions of Madness, I was thinking about just posting somewhere and being like, just there's someone in England paint minis, and how much does it cost? Because I've got no idea how much it would cost someone to commission someone to do it. I imagine more than I could afford. And in the end, after a few days of faffing about it, I just thought, well, you've got them paints in a box in the attic. Dig them out again. Even if you just paint a few things, just they're done then, aren't they? You can stop thinking about it. We just painted 2 sets of 40k Berserks. One set was red, the other purple. Nice. My friend was telling me at the weekend that none of the stuff is called anything that I remember anymore in Warhammer since they rebooted it. But I had Warhammer Fantasy and I had Lizard Men, and I've still got. They're in the spare room actually, because I got rid of a load of Warhammer stuff, but I couldn't bring myself to get rid of the suitcase with my actual army in it. I've got no intention of ever playing Warhammer again, but I do like some of the things that I finished painting. Like I had loads of, they were like skinks, right? Like units of skinks. I finished like a load of them. They weren't chameleons, were they? I can't remember. They were like fire-breathing chameleons. I don't know if they had a special name. I finished painting all of them, and they had like little handlers and stuff. And they had the little grassy... What's that? Is that flock? Yeah, I can't remember all of the stuff. It was really nice having all of that stuff finished. Like, obviously, when you read these books and people do like the amazing highlights and stuff and the layers of different paints and shading that they can do on stuff, it looks phenomenal. I never did anything like that, but I think just looking at something that's got some paint on it, like this guy here. This is the only one that I've got in front of me. But this is like 3 colours. It's like yellow on his suit and tie, his skin colour, 4 colours. The golden trumpet, fantastic Beatles song, and black for the base. So yeah, there's no, and then there's like a wash that adds the shadows and stuff. Like really, really just basic. Because I'm bad as well. I don't always have it, but like. That's kind of steady now. Like my hands aren't very steady. They kind of they shake a bit sometimes, which I don't know. Everyone's probably shake a bit sometimes, but it seems like when you're trying to do that real detail and stuff. When I was doing the Madara minis and I was trying to paint the eyes on things, that was like one of the most demoralizing experiences in painting. Of just like trying to get this microscopic bit of paint right on where the eye should be and just getting it wrong, and now they've just got a big white blob like on their eyelid or something and it looks terrible. Or trying to do the pupil and now they're all cross-eyed and you've just got to paint over it again, and now you've got like 50 layers of paint so you can't even see their eyes anymore. This time I'm just like, I'm not even bothering. I've just put a wash over their heads. Like you can just imagine the eyes in there, because I'm not going through that again. Should run. Yeah, unfortunately, like we booted ourselves out of the EU, didn't we? So yeah, that's what we got to deal with now. Should run a contest for someone to paint your minis and you pay them. Showing up, yeah. If someone that's an amazing painter wants to be fair, that's paying people in exposure, isn't it? That's something that I wouldn't like. I mean, I would like them all to be painted and for them to look amazing. But yeah, we did do once, like the fantastic channel. Like, speaking of channels that can do the incredible techniques and mind-boggling things, Watch It Paint It is a brilliant channel, and I think he's done some videos for Mansions of Madness I need to check out as well. Although I need to dumb it down and just get stuff done. I'm trying to stay in that mode at the moment, but he's done some fantastic things. Is there like a flashing light? Is there a flashing colour on my shirt here? Why is that happening? That's weird. I hope it's not just on my monitor. Can everybody see that? But yeah, he did. What was the game? It was Dawn of Peacemakers. We had a thing where like if you got a game with minis, I I sent him the minis for that, and he painted them and did tutorials on his channel. And so you can go and watch my playthrough, and it's got the 2 minis that I used for the playthrough are absolutely gorgeous, and nothing else in that game is painted. Maybe I should paint that one day. It's a fantastic game if you haven't seen Dawn of Peacemakers, by the way. But you could go and see the tutorials on his channel, and vice versa. You could watch those tutorials and then see my playthrough. But yeah, I think, unfortunately, Dawn of Peacemakers unfairly wasn't the view getter that we were hoping for. People will come around though. You could use a tiny Sharpie marker. Yeah, how can you do that? Do people? I wonder if people do like. Do people do like Tipp-Ex? Is Tipp-Ex the same thing everywhere? Do people use Tipp-Ex anymore? Like correction fluid, you know, like the. I remember you used to have like Tipp-Ex pens. I wonder if you could use that and then like a little Sharpie dot for the eyes. I think that's a pain for you as well, Zod. Like the Medora ones were bigger as well. As I say, these Mansions ones are just tiny, tiny, tiny. Oh yeah, Norway often gets included in the EU countries for shipping. That's like now I don't. Often the UK is a separate bit now on the shipping tables. But yeah, I always have to remind myself, like, when I see things and it's like, oh, EU friendly, oh, that's brilliant. And then I have to remember, oh, it's not us anymore, is it? But hey, what can you do? You can vote against it and then moan about it for the rest of time. Whiteout, that's the thing. I was trying to think of, like, I'm sure it's not called Tipp-Ex in America. Whiteout, yeah. But I remember the pens being quite. I don't know if you like. Here we go. Board game chats. We're talking about Tipp-Ex. I remember like it used to come in the pots, didn't it? It had like a pot and a brush, and then eventually they had pens where you could just kind of scribble it out. But it was kind of. It wouldn't always come out straight away. So I feel like even if they still make those pens, I feel like it might be tricky. It might not even write on a mini, and it might not come out properly because I remember them being very temperamental. But what I also remember is they used to have these Tipp-Ex mice. It was like a kind of plastic mouse shape. I'm talking about this. This is like bad observational comedy, isn't it? Here's this bland thing that no one even remembers. It was like a mouse, and it had like a big strip of Tipp-Ex or whiteout in it, and you had to try and like scroll the mouse's nose across the page to clear it out. Hey, school days. I want to get to tell people shipping the prize. Is everything okay with the prize? It hasn't shipped yet, has it? It's like you want a pledge for Beyond the Rift. I don't think he's very far off. Yeah, but it was Beyond the Rift. Yeah, it seemed messier using Tipp-Ex than just the mistake you'd originally made. And it would never like I remember it kind of maybe we just had like store brand Tipp-Ex as well, and it would never dry white. Even if you were writing on white paper that you probably weren't. You were probably writing on cheap recycled school notepads. But like it would kind of dry like not the same color as the page, so it would make it really prominent the mistake that you'd made. Hey, and then like after it had dried, the pen wouldn't write on it at all. Welcome to Tipp-Ex chat. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, like games that are coming up, I would say like for things like Oathsworn and Burn Cycle, they're not things that I can kind of just type in and get. As always, I'm playing with something constantly, and then I end up dropping the thing. I'll put them away now because I'm going to lose them. Yeah, with things like that. Like if it's like Living Forest and it's like £20, that's okay. I can take a punt on that. But yeah, with the bigger things, yeah, they're kind of in wishful thinking territory at the moment. I think because for a little bit at least, while we're worried about finances and the state of things in general. Trying to be a little bit more frugal and protective, and I did buy like, well, pretty much everything you see in the vote. I I bought a load of things last month, being really excited for things, and kind of think, well, maybe we should have bought all those things. But hey, they'll get playthroughs. It'll be all great. There'll be plenty of stuff coming out, and like what we haven't done for many years now, and no one's been able to for the last couple of years. I'm not saying we're special, but we are hoping, touch wood, to go on holiday in the near future, in the next couple of months. So yeah, gotta not spend all the money that'll cost. I hope anyway. Yeah, did you have the rolling things as well? Did everyone have the rolling out? Was it whiteout tape? Yeah, I remember it being in like a roller that was kind of shaped like a mouse. Get that in the browser as well. Hey, that's like, as I'm typing Tipex, Tipex Pocket Mouse is like the first thing that comes up. They do still exist. Hey, you came for board game chat. Those Tipex Pocket Mouse, and the Tipex comes out of its nose. I wouldn't have thought there'd be the need for it. Maybe they were blue. Hey, crazy days. The days of writing things down, eh? Who'd have thought that would be the good old days? Yeah, now everyone's getting Chromebooks, iPads. I was thinking that, like, I did actually earlier on. I was being very, very scruffy. That's my inner rush handwriting, trying to get all of the games for this month in order. I can write neater than that. But yeah, just thinking in general, I can't write for that long. If I do need to write something down, like when we're playing detective or something like that, where you have to take a load of notes down, I can't do it for that long because my wrist aches, because it's not like you're not in practice for that anymore. The amount of writing you used to have to do. And I'm sure, like, my brother, hey, you saw Ben. He's at high school. I'm sure they have to write generally, but surely not as much anymore. Surely a lot more of the stuff can just be done on iPads and Google Classroom and all that stuff. Yeah, it was genuinely for some reason the correction tape was genuinely mouse themed. Yeah, it would be amazing if all of those exams were just done on computers and stuff now. I suppose they've got to think about cheating and all of that stuff, but I hated essay questions and having to write all of that rubbish that I'm sure it did help, and I'm just being like still got resentful feelings about it. I'm not resentful because like I always did pretty all right in exams, but I hated them. Hated revising, hated going through them. I think it's like mock exams, SATs, GCSEs kind of time in this country. So everyone's going through them now. Just like do think back every now and then and just think, I'm so glad I never have to do any of that again. Hey John, my thoughts about War of the Ring card game. I have very few thoughts about it, but I'm gonna generate some now. War of the Ring, I've never really looked into too much because it's a fight against each other kind of game, isn't it? This might be a thing where I realise that I'm completely wrong about this stuff. This is one of the instances where when you search for a game, its popularity outweighs Board Game Geek. Because like the results that come up for it are like Lord of the Rings wiki. So it's a two-player fight against each other games, right? Yeah, area majority, area movement. Well, why don't I again get it back on the browser you can see? Get the Tipex mini mouse off and bring the browser back up. Pink drink. Browser not working. There we go. It's Tango Berry Peachy, by the way. I don't know if Tango gets outside England, but it's beautiful. Also, a more recent thing, this is the cherry one, but they also make Raspberry Pepsi Max. I have like other sidetrack from board games. I'm a big pop drinker. I used to drink loads and loads of Coke and cherry Coke and stuff. I know, bad for you, all of the sugar and all of that stuff. I've, in the last few months, managed to convince myself that Coke Zero isn't horrible. But, yeah, it's drinkable. But I think that Pepsi Max, with the flavouring in, for some reason, tastes like it's got sugar in it, even though it assures me it hasn't. Yeah, we don't really play games where we're fighting against each other. So, like, that would be why I haven't looked at War of the Ring in the past. But why isn't it linking me to the card game? Does that not re-implement this? War of the Ring, the card game. There it is. Nearly clicked the Ringmaster. Control of the Free Peoples or the Shadow Armies. I think, like, I would like it. I do sometimes think about getting the Lord of the Rings LCG, which I know would be completely different to the gameplay of this, but just because that would be cooperative or solo. And I do remember we did play it a few times years and years and years ago. Our friend had it and we enjoyed it. It's just like, I would like the Lord of the Rings element to it, but I really don't care about deck building. Talking about the LCG, not this. So it's 4 players compete in 2 teams, Shadow against the Free Peoples. It's probably great, but yeah, again, we don't really play things where we're fighting against each other. So I don't think it would be for us unless solo was developed for it. But yeah, as a 1v1 team based thing, that might not suit it. But if it ever did, I'd go for it. Oh, it can be 4 versus 4. Wow. When I ever played Canvas, I haven't, but it's another one that, like, it looks gorgeous and I'm very tempted by every time I see it come up. They're doing a new game called Globetrotting. It looks like a gimmick, but might be cool. Let's have a look. That will be on the SM preview. Here about travelling the world. Players plot 3 epic trips. Line drawing. Bingo! Hey, I like bingo. And we love Augustus, the bingo-based Euro game. Around 3 destination cards are revealed. Everyone simultaneously selects a destination, add it to their trips by drawing the travel route. The globe stands to have a built-in circular ruler to measure the distance and cost of each flight. The further you fly, the more expensive. This sounds cool. This sounds weird. Preface cool first because, yeah, I like weird. I like that. I'll have to subscribe to that on the main browser. I am sold. It's got like freestanding globe to measure your distances. Ooh. Yeah, I'll have to wait for retail as well. But yeah, that sounds really cool. Vanilla Coke. I've never tried vanilla Coke. Rach nearly bought one the other day, but Rach apparently tried it before and doesn't like it. I'd like to give it a go. Like cherry Coke Zero is okay, but it still tastes like I can put up with Coke Zero now. Not put up with it. It's nice. Like, you just gotta not drink Coke for long enough that you forget how beautiful it is. And like, now when I have proper Coke, which I haven't had for a while now, but if you do have it out of the blue, it suddenly tastes really sugary and really syrupy and beautiful. But yeah, I'd like to try vanilla Coke. I don't know if I've really tried, apart from like ice cream and cake, if I really tried vanilla-y stuff. I just love Pink Panther soda. It's like melted candy. I don't think we've ever had that. We've had Pink Panther wafers. I can get behind Pink Panther wafers. John, Leviathan Wild. That sounds familiar. No, it doesn't. It sounds cool, though. Are we playing in a book? Ooh. So there's Leviathans. There's Colossi. Humanity discovered frenzied Leviathans can be restored. Climbers willing to take the risk must explore the wilds and work together. Hey, we've just... Rach and I have separately been spending tens of hours in Xenoblade Chronicles. We know about living on top of Leviathans. 2 to 4 players will confront these colossal beings, with each creature being depicted across the spread of a spiral-bound storybook, making up the game's board. I like it. I like the boards being books. I like the Shadow of the Colossus kind of thing. Each character's deck of multi-use cards. Love multi-use cards. is unique, allowing them to climb, jump, and glide around the board in different ways. The number of cards left in their slim deck represents the grip on the Leviathan's body. Ooh! If the deck runs out, the player loses their grip and begins to fall down on the board until they're able to reach a rest space, which resets their deck. And moving on to rest spaces allows you to regain your grip. The Leviathan has its own deck of cards triggering various effects, from targeted attacks that reduce health to effects that move players or loosen their grip. As the game progresses, the Leviathan gains rage, intensifying the effects of its event cards. I really like the sound of that. Is that on 22 days ago? So that must just be on. Oh, it's about to launch a week from today. That sounds really cool. Okay, it's another one that's I'll have to copy the link and subscribe to that on me. I'm not logged in this browser. Boom. I'll have to subscribe to that and keep an eye out. Thanks for letting me know about that. Like, there's so many games. Things can pass me by. Right. Let's see. Gearworks play against Leviathan there. I don't think I played Gearworks. I think Gearworks is always one that we meant to play. What was that? I'm thinking of Steamworks. Am I thinking of Steamworks? I might be thinking of Steamworks. We have played Gearworks though. I think there was a video for Gearworks. But yes, I think we should now, because I'm going to have to make two at some point quite soon. I think we will wrap up the recap. Hey, I think if you're just here later on for the recap and you like shorter things, I think the recap section was pretty speedy. We've just been having a bit of a natter afterwards, which is always lovely and I enjoy. So I think, like, I mentioned that, right? The Essen preview thing. I think we might do another chatty kind of stream next week and just have a look through. Like, we've kind of been doing that with some games, not Essen related, today. But it would be nice to... I can show you some of it. Like, if you haven't seen it at all, hey, Essen, it's this great big event that happens all the time. There's a Gen Con one as well that I'll have to do, because I did promise to do a top 10 Gen Con games that I haven't done for a long time. I can't find where it is on Board Game Geek. Previews. Essen preview. Are you coming up? There you go. So yeah, sorted by, well, sorted how you want. Defaults sorted by publisher. Already, how many games we've got? 220, that's manageable, isn't it? We could have a look through 220 games in a stream, because a lot of the games, it would be like, oh, doesn't support 2 players, this conflict between players. That's kind of how I go through these previews. Kind of like, oh, Freedom and Freeze, interested, definitely. Violence and the Grumpiness, I don't know about these. Loads of these I put undecided on, and then I have to like look further later on. But yeah, I think that might be a cool stream if you're interested in that, because eventually I'll be doing, whether I go or not, I'll be doing some kind of Essen preview video or top 10. So yeah, it would be nice to make a start on it now when there's 220 games, rather than what I usually do, and make a start on it about 2 weeks before Essen when there's like 2,000 games to look through. But hey, yeah, that might be next week if we've got time for it. We'll see what comes up. In terms of live, I'll be back on Friday with Rach, and it's under this great big pile of games here. We are going to be playing another one. Like, I always worry when it's not like a big heavy Euro to play. We are going to be playing family game, maybe even children's game. I think it was up for the Kinderspiel, I think. Quacks & Co., which is a spin-off of Quacks of Quedlinburg. Fantastic push your luck game. There is less pushing your luck in this. You do have decisions to make, don't get me wrong. But it's a simpler race game that's probably not going to take very long. And then I'm hoping that Rach is going to be up for playing some Fuse afterwards, which is a fantastic real-time, dice-based, cooperative, defuse the bombs kind of game. We haven't played it for ages, but we used to play it relentlessly, and it used to be, and probably still is, in my top 10 of all time. It's absolutely fantastic. I would really like a revisit. So Friday, Quacks & Co. and Fuse, 5 PM BST, and Rach is going to be here for that as well. And outside the live things, playthroughs are going up. Don't worry about that. I think on Thursday, like just generally on the channel, Thursday, Scythe, The Rise of Fenris, Sunday, First Rat, and then next week there's like Kickstarters launching, there's more First Rat coming, there's basically loads. Like things that I think, well, how did June feel so busy when there weren't as many playthroughs finished? Because some of them were Kickstarters and they're coming up later. And you filmed 8 Scythe sessions that are going to take ages to edit. But yeah, there's loads of stuff to come through, and then on Patreon, yeah, Scythe Solo is coming up. I need to edit Eldritch Horror next. I'm going to be filming Carnegie. I'm going to be filming Shoes Tactics, upcoming print and play, roll and write. I am going to be filming Aquamarine, upcoming print and play, roll and write, from Matthew Dunstan and Rory Summers as well. Don't get the names wrong of things. A follow-up to Voyages, which I backed, and I need to get playing. Rory Muldoon, not Rory Summers. I do apologise, Rory. I've got Summers on the brain. Rory B. Bellows. Just go for the... What was Rory B. Bellows in The Simpsons? Was that Krusty's pseudonym when he was going to go and live on a boat? I can't remember why. It's when he went bankrupt. Start remembering Simpsons and stuff. You were supposed to go off. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I feel really bad now for getting Rory's name wrong. That's why I try not to say things like names and stuff on stream, because I've got such a terrible memory for stuff. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I hope. I worry when things are going to be dead light, but I think it's going to be a laugh. It's obviously not going to be a big, meaty tactical thing. I was thinking as well that like we could have a team of viewers as well, like we did for Quacks of Quedlinburg. It would be even easier to do a team of viewers in Quacks and Co. if enough people fancy teaming up and playing against us. But yeah, even though it's children, it's a laugh. We played it with our friend's 4-year-old daughter, who is our friend as well. Let's be honest. And she stomped us, won the race, which is as it should be, really. But yes, thank you everyone for being here. And I've said it a million times, but I will genuinely go this time. You can support the channel in those ways that will be in the description and stuff. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you Friday. There's plenty of playthroughs coming up and in progress. Thank you for making it happen. It's only all of your support that can make it exist in the first place. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye. Bye. Bye.